Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I'm going to do a review of the new guitar that I just purchased, which is the Turser Jazz Box JT-142. Now, you guys might be asking, ain't you selling guitars? I thought you weren't going to buy anymore. There's always exceptions. And the reason why I bought this one is because when I told you guys, when I find a guitar that I like, I try to find them and buy them in pairs. Because I'm sure you guys remember this guitar, which is actually the same model as this guitar. And I fell in love with this guitar. The tone, the playability. So before I kind of get into this, I'm going to share an interesting delivery story. Whenever I have a guitar coming in, I track it, to make sure that it's showing up on this day. I'm here. I'm not sleeping or taking a nap, or I can't get to the door, or I'm making sure I'm listening out for the phone. For the bell. So it came day before yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And the carrier, and I'm not going to say their name. I'm just going to say this. It's not UPS. It's not the United States. It's not the United States Postal Service. It ain't DHL. So you figure it out. And I've always had issues with that carrier. So I'm looking at the track. I'm like, okay, it's going to be here on Wednesday. So I'm waiting around. And I just happened to look out my back window, a side window facing the side street of the street, side of the house. And I look up. I'm like, I'll be damned. Big ass box sitting on the inside of the fence close to the exit of the gate. Because normally when they deliver, they bring it up to the house, lean it up against the door, ring the bell. I'm like, okay, cool with that. Didn't ring the fucking bell. I look out there, my guitar box, my $500 guitar sitting up against my fence, out or closer to the outside walkway than my house. Anybody could have just walked past and picked that box up, didn't even have to come into the yard and walked off. So I was extremely pissed. So I called and I filed a complaint because I'm like, that was unacceptable. Ring the bell or knock on the door. Just left my shit there, Just left my shit there. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's why I do this for you guys. Whenever I sell you guys a guitar, I add signature required, meaning that the carrier has to contact or have a physical contact with somebody to hand the box off and tell her, I'm just going to leave it on their porch and leave. Even if the resident is not there and they do ring the bell, there's still a chance of your package being taken away if they leave it. In some cases, they do leave it. It's like I rang the bell and I left it, But that's why, like I told you guys, when I ship you guys guitars, somebody got to sign for it. Instead of you just happen to look out your window. Because I'm like, what if I didn't look out my window? What if I was so engaged in the house and I'm saying to myself, well, I'm not going to look around out the window because they ring the bell and knock on the door. So I'm not worried about that. And I'm like, it's a good thing that I just happened to look out there, within the time that I did, because it wasn't out there for a very long time. Because, again, I was looking out the window, taking my garbage out. And I just, again, happened to see my box out there, just sitting there. Didn't ring the bell, didn't knock on the door. And I'm like, I'm glad that I just happened to look out there and not have that box sitting out there for a long period of time. Because one day, this had to happen about maybe 2 years ago. Me and my wife sitting down at the table having dinner. And I just look out the window just to be looking, not to be nosy, just, you just look out the window. And it was getting kind of dark. And I looked out my window, and there's a dude in my backyard. So I went to the door. I'm like, what's up, dude? What do you want, and why are you back here? Oh, I was looking for somebody. Looking for who? Get the fuck out of my yard before you get lead in your ass, And I don't know why he was in my yard. He didn't ring the bell, didn't knock on the door, but I just happened to look out the window and seen the dude in my backyard. Young dude, So, I just thought I'd share that story with you guys because, like I said, this particular carrier, I've had issues with them for a very long time and a lot of different incidents. You leaving, buddy? Goodbye. My cat's gone. But the reason why I purchased this again, because like I told you guys, when I like something, I try to buy them in pairs. I love J Turser guitars, with the exception of the maple neck strat copies. Stay away from those, because for some reason, I don't know why, they just don't feel as good as the rosewood. But other than that, I have nothing but praise for these guitars, and I'll leave a link down here so you guys can hear me play it. It feels good. You know, it feels good, it sounds good, and what really drew my attention to this one was the color. So orange sunburst. And I had a J Turser. It was a 335 copy orange sunburst, and I had to sacrifice and sell it years ago. And it was the same color as this one. This one is beautiful, brand new. Like I said, fell in love with this one. This one's set up the same way. One thing that I like about J Turser, well, it's actually many things. One is they're extremely economical, because if I got a Gibson like this set me back about $3,000. You know, and I've played Gibsons. I played the L5s, and they do sound incredible. You know, it's like, well, they should for that kind of money. You know, and this is not short-stopping. This one sounds good too, and it feels good to play. And again, another thing that I like about J Turser guitars, they get it. Most of us don't want our fucking action way up there and hurting our hands when we press down on the bar chord. It's like they like, we got that, you know? You want it low. If you get 20 guys in here and ask them, maybe one guy might say he want his high for some reason, but the majority of us want our stuff low. Especially me, I'm a professional musician. I play anywhere from 8 to 9, 10 hours a day. Okay, so I can't be playing around, messing around with high action guitars. You know, I'm like, I need to play for that long period of time, because that's what I do. So therefore, I need some action that's so low that I'm not even thinking about my hands hurting, because they're not. You know, but for a long time, I was having issues with Fenders, and I couldn't understand why. I'm like, I changed out the strings. I'm like, maybe it's the strings. And I try to lower the action, and I lower as low as it can go, and it still feel extremely rigid. And I come to the conclusion that it's just how they set their guitars up. However that may be, because I'm not a guitar tech, and I can't sit here and tell you technically what they do and what they don't do, or what they should do. But I realized that it's something about their setup that makes my hands hurt. And Gibson, not so much the Les Pauls, but the Epiphones and the Sheritons, they guilty of that too. You know, I bought one, an Epiphone. I sold that thing in 2 days. I'm like, this just don't feel good to play. You know, the strings are too stiff when you try to bend them. But with the J Tursers, the action is great. The strings are they slinky. You know, so it's something about the way that they set up their guitars that gives you that real stiff, rigid feel. You know, you barely can bend the strings. You know. So again, nothing but praise for J Turser guitars, and I'm just trying to think of something else that I might need to add to this. No, not really. I mean, again, this is a beautiful guitar, and it feels good to play. And the action is low. And I would have paid $700, $800, $900 for your average jazz box. And actually, I can't even say that, because this one's brand new, and it does have the model number up here. That one here is not new, and apparently they replaced the plate up here with just a plain one. But I'm assuming that one had this also as far as model identification, because a lot of J Turser guitars, because they make a lot of different models, and some of them are not labeled. And then the other thing that I had that I kind of got tripped up on, and I paid attention the next time around, and I'll show it to you guys in a minute. The crescent, they vary as far as model to model, and I'm gonna show you this crescent. So when I bought that guitar and was so impressed with it, I went looking for another one. And I found one, so I thought it looked at the same. And then when I bought it, got it here, two things I noticed. It was a little bit wider, and the crescent was different. So that means it was a different model. So I ended up selling that one. And that one didn't feel bad, but I'm like, this one feels much better. You know, these feel better. The tone on these were a little better, a little mellow, a little thicker. Now, I do notice a slight difference in the tone between these two, and that's just because I got different set of strings. I think these might be 9s, maybe 10s, because you want thicker gauge strings on your jazz box to give it a thicker mellow tone. If you put them too bright ones, the 8s, and that they actually got 7s now. If you put those on there, these on those, it's gonna sound thin. You know, it's gonna be noticeably different. So when this one came with these strings, I just left it alone. I'm like, it sounds good, it feels good, so I ain't gonna bother the strings. I've had these same strings on here since I've had this guitar, which is almost 2 years. And this one has a lighter gauge strings than that one. And I can tell the difference. It's not a huge difference, but I do tell the difference. This one is not as thick in tone as in this one. But if I were to change out the strings to 10, I most likely would duplicate this sound, exactly. So I'm going to sign off now. I just thought I'd, show this guitar to you guys. Because, again, there are exceptions to the rules. And like I told you, when I buy one has to go. And I actually did sell 2 of my guitars in my collection. So, I got room. But that's what I do now, instead of just keep stockpiling them. When I get one got to go. When I get another one got to go. So I keep a certain number of guitars, because you get to the point where it's just cumbersome when you got too many things in your room or in your house, So I'm going to sign off now, but I'm, as usual, I'm totally happy with the Turser guitars, with this one, So until next time, take care and thanks for watching.